Okay, here we go.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, expert, and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you, and then remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. It's National Oreo Cookie Day. And yes, I have a sample right here in my hot little hand. National Oreo Cookie Day. So got a lot of celebrations today. Slam the Scam Day. Okay, we don't like scams, and there's a lot of them. It's amazing how many we get nowadays. It's and recruiters. I get like 4 or 5 calls a day, and I like to answer the phone. I might be one of those weird ones, but we get a lot of calls from people that I don't know their numbers. I don't know your number if you call me. So I answer the phone, and then I find out it's some recruiter, and I can barely understand what they're saying. It's enough to drive me to drink. And yes, I do have a drink here as well. Today's National White Chocolate Cheesecake Day. I like all kinds of cheesecake, but it is white chocolate. And, Josh, I didn't tell you this one. We should have put this in there. Should have started it on Monday if I was paying more attention. Right now, if you are in Orange County, California, it is National Restaurant Week. Yes. And a lot of restaurants around Orange County have a prefix menu trying to show the best of what they have to offer. I might have to grab the bride and go check out one of these restaurants this afternoon or this evening. Of course, it'll be down near the beach. That's where I like to go. Let's see what else we've got going on today. Frozen Food Day. It's almost every day. Let's see what's going on in the world. I'm just wondering, can somebody double check on one of the other stations and just let me know, has the president finished his speech yet? Holy cow, did you watch that on, I think it started Tuesday night. I'm not sure if it ended on Wednesday or if it was Thursday. It seemed like it went on forever. But, we watched I did watch it to see what he had to say. And I watched to see what the Democrats have they gotten lost yet? I mean, they're, I think it's great to have a two-party system. I live in California, so I understand what it means to have a one-party system and how bad it is. Look what's happened here. But when you watch the Democrats and they sit on their hands, when you talk about, it's like a wish, and yes, I am friends or was friends with the late Frank Shankwitz, who founded the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He passed on, but he was on the program many times, and he founded the Make-A-Wish Foundation. At the president's speech, you get this little young man whose wish was that he wanted to be a police officer, but he's suffering from cancer. So the president, not only has he been already made a police officer, an honorary police officer, in the middle of the speech, the president makes him a honorary Secret Service member, and the Democrats sit on their hands. If you can't applaud for that one, you got to wonder what's going on here. What are they? What's the issue with them? I just don't understand.
What's the big idea?
Yeah. But let's see what the markets are doing right now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 500 points. The S&P 500 down 104. The NASDAQ down 413. Boy, I left for the studio. When I first got up this morning, the Dow was down about 500 points. Then the Commerce Secretary comes out and signals there's maybe more of a tariff pause, and the Dow recovers about half. And now I'm sitting here in the studio looking at the monitors, and the Dow's down 470 again. So you got to look and you say, okay, what's going on? And I go over, and yes, I subscribe to a lot of different services. I have to, just because when I subscribe to the services, you try and get news that's, number one, it's a cross section, but also more importantly, get rid of the personal opinion. So one of the services we look at is mbslive.net, and they've told us that the jobless claims are a little bit better than what was the forecast. Continuing claims were a little bit worse than the forecast. Our trade gap was not good. Vehicle sales, not real good. But I don't see anything that's going on through these news channels that's telling me why this might have changed again. So, and I look at I watch some of the streaming folks. So one of the articles that came out was that the Doge Group maybe, and one of the things I did learn, if you listen to the Joe Rogan Experience, he talks about Doge, and he says anytime somebody says something, go to doge.gov and check it out for yourself. They said everything we do, we put right there online. Well, I see an article that says that there was 70,000 job cuts from the VA. Now, there's like 500,000 employees at the VA. There is 16 million people that are being served by the VA. You got to wonder how many, in almost any organization, there is excesses. When there's government, there's even more excess. For instance, think about this one. You hear all over the news, and I listened to this one. Again, I'm in Orange County, and they're talking about Medicare, Medicaid cuts. Okay, so do a little research. What does that mean, Medicare, Medicaid cuts? Well, in the last couple of years of the prior administration, their budget was increased by 9% per year. 9% per year. Think about that. Well, in the latest budget under this administration, they say they want to increase, no, not cut, increase by 2%. 9%, 9%, 2%. So that means over 3 years, that's a 20% increase. Does that sound like a cut to you? If that sounds like a cut to you, well, maybe I could get you to hire me, because, we did a lending team, and our income has dropped by way more than 20% over the last 3 years. I don't even want to think about the idea of a 2% increase being a cut. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, got a great broadcast lined up for you today. Why a pre-listing inspection may be worth it in today's market. Essential steps for parents of children with disabilities. All that and more. Reach me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
As the economy slows, do you know anyone worried about job loss? At Siegel Lending Team, we offer the Home Select Loan. Think of it as a financial superhero cape for homeowners with good income and credit. It not only saves your home, but also throws a life ring to your credit score. Because who needs stress when you can have peace of mind? Let's secure your future with a smile. Visit rsrhomeselect.com. rsrhomeselect.com. NMLS 217037.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call every day at this time. OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates, with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to find out exactly what your principal and interest payment will be. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, you can get it for free. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. Yesterday, conventional 30-year fixed rate, 6.635. That was up. Jumbo 30-year fixed, 6.782. That was up. FHA 30-year fixed, 6.359. That was up. VA 30-year fixed, 6.18. That was up. Holy cow, they're all up. And the USDA, they broke the streak. 30-year fixed. That's our rural areas. Generally no down payment. 6.399. That was down. If you want our market thoughts each and every business day morning as early as the data allows, you can get that. We put it out. rsrlinks.com/market minute. rsrlinks.com/market minute. Let's see what the markets are doing today. The S&P 500 is now down 98 points. The 10-year Treasury, that's up to 4.31. Mortgage-backed securities are down 2 basis points. When the mortgage-backed security goes down, that means the interest rate goes up. 2 basis points on the bond doesn't have a whole lot of effect on interest rates, so I would not pay much attention to it. But let's see, it's been a quiet morning. There has not been any reprices yet this morning, so that's still early, still pretty quiet on that front. Let's take a look. So we've got the jobs report coming out tomorrow. Now, I have been sharing with a lot of folks that unfortunately we get these BLS reports, and I call them the BS reports from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because they're always wrong. Not like sometimes, they're always wrong. Now, the market moves on this wrong data, this incompetent data, and then they correct it, and the market doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to the corrections. I don't understand that, but let's take a look, though, before we get into that. Yesterday, the yields rose sharply on the bonds, in part due to inflation fears out of Europe, which influenced global yields higher. After the increased inflation fears, we saw the ECB cut rates 25 basis points today. That doesn't make any sense. It's like throwing gas on a fire. If we saw inflation rising here and there were fears, the last thing we would likely do is cut, but rather pause. As a result, that is pressuring European yields higher once again, but the impact in the U.S. is more muted. 10-year yields are up 2 basis points ahead of an important jobs report tomorrow. Challenger job cuts report. Challenger reported that there were 172,000 job cuts announced in February. Highest total for the month since 2009. and the highest monthly total since July 2020. The Doge government cuts had an impact, but there was also significant weakness in the retail and technology sectors. There was an increase in hiring announcements, but the majority were in leisure and hospitality. This sector saw a big decline due to weather in the prior month, so it's likely a bounce back thing. There is not always a correlation between job cuts from Challenger and the BS report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but from this one piece of the puzzle, it would point to a weaker report. The Beige Book was released yesterday, showed the health of the Fed's 12 districts. Overall, it did not sound like an overly strong economy. Consumer spending was lower, vehicle sales were modestly lower, construction activity declined, and employment nudged slightly higher. Peter Bookvar said it sounded more like a 1% to 1.5% GDP economy. Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time fell 21,000 to 221,000 after hitting the highest level since December in the previous report. Now, continuing claims of those who continue to receive benefits after their initial claim rose 42,000 to 1.897 million, which is near the highest level since 2021. The story here remains the same. Firings are muted, but once let go, it's hard to find a job because of less hiring. So we are getting that jobs report tomorrow. It's always a difficult one to handicap. That is highly unreliable. We've been accustomed to seeing hotter initial numbers that are then revised lower in the subsequent 2 months, and then much lower later on from the QCEW figures. With that said, ADP was much weaker than estimates at 77,000. Additionally, the job cuts report was weak, showing very high announced layoffs. We also saw weaker employment component in the ISM manufacturing report. Looking at the charts, mortgage bonds are trading in a narrow range between resistance at 101.55 and support at 101.39. If support is broken, there's about 35 basis points of room to the downside, which we need to be aware of. Bond goes down, rates go up. 10 years back above its 200-day moving average and has a bit more room to move higher until reaching 4.33. Historically, the jobs report has not been favorable for the bond market. However, the estimates are set pretty high, around 160,000 to 170,000, with the unemployment rate expected to remain at 4%. We believe that there is a good chance a report comes in weaker, and we'll just watch and see what happens. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial when you're ready for that next home loan. Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So yesterday, you may have noticed we did a best of radio program. I was in with a whole group of financial planners. And one of the things that I was contemplating while I was there was money, something we think about all the time, and lifestyle. So let's think about this. And I know I've got a chart for it, but I didn't get it over to Josh, so I can't share it with you. But we do know that we have this thought, and I know it's scary when I give you thoughts, but there's a chart that we have, and I'll share it with you down the road one of these days. But we talk about the idea of committed expenses versus non-committed expenses, and the idea of savings. And I know that in our country, we don't save a lot. Not good, but it's the facts of life. We just don't save. So when I talk about that concept, the idea that we have here is we look at some of the numbers and we say, okay, the statistics tell us, samples, surveys, research tells us. And one of my good friends is a professor at the University of North Carolina. And he talks about this cash flow over time concept, and they've done a lot of research. And what they've found is that 52% of our income goes to committed expenses. 52% goes to committed expenses. 48%, I think, is the number. And I'm going to go and try and find it here real quick in this slide deck that I was trying. Darn, Josh got it before I did. 46%. It's right there on the screen. 46% goes to discretionary expenses. And 2% goes to savings. Okay, so think about those concepts. And it is, I like the idea there, and I'm going to try and just move this so it's a little bit bigger. So we've got 52% going to committed. That is our house payment. Most of us want to live indoors. Auto payments, these are all the things that we have to do. They're fixed. Our health insurance, auto payments. We've got 46% is discretionary. That would be, well, food and dining out, going to the movies, clothing, trips. And then that leaves us 2% for savings. Not a lot of savings. Our discretionary is what we refer to as lifestyle today. Lifestyle today. We don't have to go to the movies, but we like to. We don't have to go on vacation, but we like to. That's our lifestyle today. The savings is actually our lifestyle tomorrow, because we're going to use that for something. Maybe it's retirement. Maybe we're saving for a trip down the road. Maybe we're saving for college, wedding, lifestyle tomorrow. Now, what if we could cut 4% off of the committed expenses portion? Cut 4% off committed expenses. We do that all the time when we're looking at our strategies for debt management. 4%, not a whole lot of money. So, but we do that. Now, what do we do with that money? Well, we already enjoy our lifestyle right now. So let's move that to lifestyle tomorrow. We're going to increase that 2% by 300%, moving it up to 6%. Now, what does that do for us? Well, what that does for us then is takes that and says, what if that was just a small number? What if that 4%, and I know we're in Southern California, so we don't get to deal with real small numbers when it comes to committed expenses. But what if we did deal with just a small number and we say that number is only $250? Well, if that number was only $250 and we were able to add that $250 to our savings over 16 years, do you know that comes out to $426,990? That's almost $500,000. I'm sorry, $304,350 comes out to $426,000. And if you take a look at that, Josh, see if you can get to slide 12 there real quick. You look at that and you say, okay, $450 comes out to $550,000. That's some massive amounts of money. Just by moving 4% from our committed expenses to our savings side, it's huge money right there. So if you want to have that conversation, just give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And you can see, what if you save $1,000? Wow, that's $1.2 million. And we've had some people that we've helped save $1,300 a month. So at $1,000 a month, it's in 9 years, that comes out to $1.2 million. Think about that. That's why I tell you, as a certified liability advisor, we help people build wealth through strategic debt management. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, why a pre-listing inspection may be worth it in today's market, essential steps for parents of children with disabilities. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today. Being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Why a pre-listing inspection may be worth it in today's market. Selling a house comes with a lot of moving pieces, and the last thing you want is a deal falling apart over unexpected repairs uncovered during the buyer's inspection. That's why it pays to anticipate potential issues before buyers ever step through the door, and one way to do that is with a pre-listing inspection. What is a pre-listing inspection? A pre-listing inspection is essentially a professional home inspection you schedule before putting your house on the market, just like the inspections your buyer will do after making an offer. This process identifies any issues with the condition of your house that could have an impact on the sale, like structural problems, faulty or outdated HVAC systems, or other essential repairs. While it's a great option if you're someone who really doesn't like surprises, Bankrate explains this may not make sense for all sellers. Quote, while it can be beneficial for a seller to do a pre-listing inspection, isn't always necessary. For example, if your home is relatively new and you've been the only owner, you're most likely already aware of any big issues that could impact a sale. But for an older home, a pre-listing inspection can be very insightful and help you get ahead of any potential problems, unquote. The key is deciding whether the benefits outweigh the costs for your situation. Sometimes a few $100s now can get you information that'll save you a lot of time and hassle later on. Why it may be worth considering in today's market. Right now, buyers are more cautious about how much money they're spending, and they want to be sure the home they're buying is worth the expense. In a market like this, a pre-listing inspection can be your secret weapon to make sure your house shows well. Here are a few ways it can help. It gives you time to make repairs when you know about issues ahead of time. It gives you the chance to fix them on your schedule rather than rushing to make repairs when you're under contract. Avoid surprises during negotiations. When buyers discover issues during their own inspection, it can lead to last-minute negotiations, price reductions, or even a deal falling through. A pre-listing inspection gives you a chance to spot and address any problems ahead of time so they don't turn into last-minute headaches or negotiation roadblocks. Sell your house faster, according to Rocket Mortgage. If your house is listed in the best shape possible, there won't be as many reasons for buyers to ask for concessions. That means you should be able to cut down on negotiation timelines and ultimately sell faster. How your agent will help. Before you think about reaching out to any inspectors to get something scheduled, be sure to talk to an agent. Your agent will be able to give you advice on whether a pre-inspection is worthwhile for your house and the local market. Because it may not be as important if sellers still have the majority of the negotiation power where you live. If your agent does recommend moving forward and getting one done, here's how they'll support you throughout the process. Offer advice on how to prioritize repairs. If the inspection uncovers problems, your agent will sit down with you and offer perspective on what's going to be a sticking point for buyers so you know what to prioritize. Knowledge of how to handle any disclosure requirements. After talking to your agent, you may decide not all the repairs are worth it right now. Just be ready to disclose what you're not tackling. Some states require disclosures as part of a listing. Your agent will give you more information. If you're staying in California, disclose. Bottom line, while they're definitely not required, pre-listing inspections can be especially helpful in today's market. By understanding your home's condition ahead of time, you can take control of the process and make informed decisions about what to fix before you list and what to disclose. If you choose to skip this step, you may be just as surprised as your buyer by what pops up in their inspection. And that could leave you scrambling. Would you rather fix issues now or risk trying to save a deal later? Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. As a certified liability advisor, we help families build wealth through strategic debt planning. Again, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. Securing your child's future, essential steps for parents of children with disabilities. Ron Siegel Radio, we empower homeowners and future homeowners to take control of their finances and build a brighter future. Today, we're tackling a topic that's close to my heart, protecting the financial future of children with disabilities. As many of you know, raising a child is a significant financial commitment. But for parents of children with special needs, the cost can be even greater. We're talking about lifelong care, specialized therapies, and potentially modified living arrangements. It's a lot to consider, but with careful planning and the right strategies, you can ensure your child's well-being even when you're no longer able to provide for them directly. Now, I know this can be a difficult subject to think about, but trust me, it's crucial. As a certified liability advisor, I've helped countless families navigate these challenges and create a secure financial plan for their loved ones. And today I'm going to share some essential steps you can take to protect your child with disabilities. Number one, envisioning the future. Every child is unique, and children with disabilities are no exception. The first step is securing your child's future is to envision what their life might look like after you're gone. Will they need daily assistance with tasks like dressing or eating? Will they require ongoing medical treatments or therapies? Will they live independently in a group home or with other family members? These are tough questions, but answering them honestly will help you create a plan that truly meets your child's needs. Consider personality, their abilities and their preferences. Talk to their doctors, therapists, and educators to get a comprehensive picture of their current and future needs. Number two, preparing your estate. Once you have a clear vision of your child's future needs, it's time to start preparing your estate. This is where things can get a little complicated, but don't worry. I'll break it down for you. First, you need to understand that government benefits like supplemental security income and Medicaid can be valuable resources for individuals with disabilities. However, these programs often have strict asset limits. If your child has too many assets in their name, they could be disqualified from receiving these benefits. That's why it's crucial to work with a qualified professional who can help you navigate these complexities and structure your estate in a way that protects your child's eligibility for government assistance. One strategy to consider is setting up a special needs trust. This type of trust allows you to set aside assets for your child's benefit without jeopardizing their eligibility for government programs. The funds in the trust can be used to supplement their current care and provide for their needs above and beyond what government benefits offer. Step 3, involve the family. Protecting your child's future is a team effort. It's important to involve all family members in the decision-making process. Talk to your spouse with other children and other relatives who might be involved in your child's care. Make sure everyone understands your wishes and is on board with the plan. This open communication will help prevent disagreements and ensure that your child receives the best possible care, even if the unexpected happens. Remember, a unified family front is the strongest support system your child can have. Step 4, identify a caregiver. As your child with disabilities transitions into adulthood, they may need someone to make financial and healthcare decisions on their behalf. This is where a guardian comes in. A guardian is a person appointed by the court to act in the best interest of an individual who is unable to manage their own affairs. Choosing a guardian is a big decision. You need someone who is trustworthy, responsible, and truly cares about your child's well-being. It could be a family member, a close friend, or even a professional guardian. Once you've identified a potential guardian, it's important to have a conversation with them to ensure they're willing and able to take on this responsibility. The letter of intent. In addition to a will and a special needs trust, I also recommend creating a letter of intent. This is a personal document that outlines your wishes for your child's care. It's not legally binding, but it provides valuable guidance to the caregiver and family members. In your letter of intent, you can include details about your child's daily routine, their likes and dislikes, their medical needs, and any other information that would be helpful for their future caregivers. This letter can be a source of comfort and reassurance for both you and your child. Taking action, planning for the future of your child with disabilities can feel overwhelming, but remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are resources available to help you every step of the way. Start by reaching out to qualified professionals like myself who specialize in this area. We can help you understand your options, create a comprehensive plan, and ensure your child's financial security for years to come. Remember, as a certified liability advisor, I'm here to help families like yours build wealth through strategic debt management and financial planning. Don't hesitate to reach out and schedule a consultation. Together, we can create a plan that gives you peace of mind and secures your child's future. Just remember, I am not an attorney. I do not give legal advice, but I can put you in touch with attorneys and people who did give legal advice, and you'll actually get some good information to go there and ask essential questions that maybe you haven't heard of. That is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Let's take a look. Headed back into the office, you may decide to move. It's no secret that remote work has surged over the last few years, and that flexibility gave a lot of people the freedom to move and work from wherever they needed. But now, a growing number of companies are requiring employees to return to the office, and that's leading some people to make decisions about where they live and if they need to move. How return to work policies are impacting housing. Well, everything impacts housing, so why would this? During the rise of remote work, a lot of employees took the opportunity to move away from expensive or crowded city centers. Some opted for suburban neighborhoods and larger homes with yards, while others relocated to more rural areas. But lately, more people are returning to the city. According to data from Bright MLS, more than half of workers surveyed would have to rethink where they live or deal with long drive times if their job enforced a return to office policy. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing a chart. Would you have to move if you were called back to the office? 49% say no. 11 are definitely yes. 15 are probably yes. And 25, no, but I would have a long commute. Maybe you're one of them. If you moved farther out of the city during the work from home era, you may be facing a longer commute than you never expected to make daily. Once you've done it a few times, you might find it's something you can get used to, and it isn't as bad as you may have thought. But sometimes it's just too hard to make it work. No matter how much you try, a drive or train ride that seemed fine once or twice a week can feel like too much of a grind 5 days in a row. It may also cost too much to commute so often, take too long, or cut too far into your free time. As Lisa Sturdivant, chief economist of Bright MLS, notes, quote, during the pandemic, when remote work became the norm, home buyers were able to move farther out. But workers do not have the same flexibility that they used to. And some are going to have to make a tough choice if and when their employer calls them back into the office. If you're thinking you may want to move, don't stress. Talking to an agent can help you weigh your options, whether it's finding a home closer to work, balancing commute time with affordability, or even selling a home in one area to buy in another. Having a pro on your side makes the process easier. Bottom line, if having to be back in office has you considering a move, let's connect. That way, you have an agent to help you figure out what's possible and makes sense for you. Where do you see yourself living if your commute or work routine needs to change? Give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And as a certified liability advisor, I will help you build wealth through strategic debt management. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Borrow Smart segment, Raising Healthy Children, a holistic approach. It's being brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. Today, we're beyond the balance sheets and mortgage rates to talk about something truly precious, our children. We'll explore how the principles of healthy living can be instilled early on, shaping not just their physical well-being, but their financial future as well. As parents, we wear many hats. We're caregivers, providers, educators, and cheerleaders. You don't want to see me, rushing the pom-poms, just saying. And while we strive to give our children the best of everything, sometimes the most valuable gifts aren't material possessions, but rather the tools and habits that will serve them throughout their lives. One of the greatest legacies we can pass on is a framework for a healthy lifestyle. This means instilling good habits early on, healthy eating, regular exercise, and adequate sleep. These habits form the foundation for a healthy body and mind, and they can have a profound impact on a child's overall well-being. Now, you might be thinking, Ron, what does this have to do with finances? Well, the truth is, healthy habits and financial well-being are more connected than you might think. Think about it. Children who learn to prioritize health are less likely to develop expensive health problems later in life. They're also more likely to be productive and successful in their careers, leading to greater financial stability. So how can we raise healthy children who grow into healthy adults? Here are a few ideas. Number one, start early. The sooner you start, the better. Good eating, sleeping, and exercise habits should be established early in childhood. This will save you and your child the struggle of breaking bad habits later on. Number two, make it a family affair. Healthy living should be a family affair. Children learn by example. So if they see you prioritizing your health, they're more likely to do the same. Even small actions can have a big impact. Studies show that kids who eat more often with their families are less likely to become overweight or obese. Number three, plan for healthy meals and snacks. Modern life is hectic, but try to plan ahead by stocking healthy foods and snacks in the house. You can even cook a few meals during the weekend for the work week ahead. If you're looking to improve your family's diet, make changes gradually. The less the kids notice, the more effective the transition will be. Encourage active play in today's digital age. It can be challenging to tear children away from their phones, computers, and TVs, but it's crucial that children engage in active play. It doesn't have to be an organized event. Challenge your child to a push-up contest, or offer to play goalie while they practice soccer kicks. Connect physical activity to a positive experience. Be a role model. Children are like sponges, absorbing everything they see and hear. If you want your child to live a healthy lifestyle, you need to lead by example. Remember, raising healthy children is an investment in their future and in the future of your family. By instilling healthy habits early on, You're not just shaping their physical well-being, but also their financial future. And as you guide your child on their journey to a healthy and a successful life, remember that I'm here to help you navigate the financial landscape. As a certified liability advisor, I can help you build a strong financial foundation for your family, ensuring that you have the resources to support your children's dreams and aspirations. So if you're ready to take control of your finances and build a brighter future for your family, reach out to me. I am here to help. I am a certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. That is the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. I think we've got time to give away some stuff. I think that fits into our schedule, and I like to anyway, so we're going to do it. First one, I want everybody to do, because I still get I was on a call just recently, and it was some very, very senior lending officials. Now, a lot of times when you get out of production, sometimes you forget things. And they were talking about how they and some of their friends have significant incomes, and they carry no debt. They pay off their credit cards every month. One of them even made the comment that he pays off his credit card. Spends like $30,000 a month because he travels a lot. And they were commenting on the thought or the concept that their credit scores were like in the high sixes. And they're like high six-figure income earners. They've got, next to no mortgage debt. They pay off their credit cards. And they said they just couldn't figure it out. And I'm yelling on my radio and on the call because it wasn't interactive. And I said, you must not be listening to Ron Siegel Radio, because we talk about this all the time. Go to rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. Pay your credit card bills the right way if you want to maximize your FICO score. Paying them in full once you get the bill is not the right way. I know so many people say, well, I pay it in full, Ron. Well, you just did it the wrong way for FICO scoring purposes. About 4 or 5 days before your credit card statement closing date, go online, find out what the balance is, and pay it. Make sure that they get the payment before the statement closing date. That way you've got a minimized balance. Your score could go up as much as 150 points. Probably not going to go up all of that, but utilization accounts for 30% or roughly 30% of your FICO score. Your score has a 500-point range, 30% of 500, 150. If you've got hit for the whole thing, you're in trouble. rsrccpayment.com. Think about those guys. If they had a 650 FICO score, it's probably higher than that, and they add 150, that's now 800. Throw that out there for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio. As always, we ask, set that first radio preset button. Come back and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
But it's July. I'm getting paid by the